All right, Oklahoma, we're just weeks away from lawmakers heading back to the Capitol, making new laws that impact, of course, your everyday lives.
Well, these next couple of weeks, KOCO is talking with leaders in the Capitol about their priorities and what this upcoming year will look like. The bills, of course, that impact you. So joining us right now is State Representative Cindy Munson. She's the leader of the Democratic caucus in the State House. So thank you for coming in on a Sunday and talking about all this. We're just a couple ways from a big time. So what does this session look like for you and your colleagues?
Yeah, well, first, thanks for having me. Happy New Year. With a new legislative session upon us, it's definitely going to be busy. And I think, the main things that we're focused on right now, first and foremost, is the budget. There were some numbers released in December about how much money we're going to be able to actually appropriate to state agencies, which is really critical when we're talking about services for everyday Oklahomans. But what I can tell you about our caucus, what we're really focused on and what we're hearing from Oklahomans all across the state is how can I do better about affording my life, my everyday life, when it comes to paying for groceries, putting gas in the car, paying for rent, paying for home insurance. These things are not partisan necessarily. We're hearing from Republicans and Democrats. If you live in rural Oklahoma or urban Oklahoma, Oklahomans in general are trying to figure out what are their lawmakers, what are their leaders looking at when it comes to affordability. And so that's really our main focus this upcoming session.
Okay, it sounds like economy will be a big topic. Last year, of course, we know education was a big topic, mental health as well. Do you expect anything else to really be a headliner as you head into this?
Yeah, I see education definitely continuing to be something that is top of mind as we go back into session. You probably have heard a lot about literacy outcomes and how can we improve those outcomes for kids in our schools. And we are absolutely on board with looking at ways to improve outcomes. But the thing that we cannot stay away from, the conversation still has to be around funding. And so like I mentioned, when it comes to our budget and the amount of money we have to appropriate, there is still this need to put more money into public education, to keep teachers in our classrooms. And one of the biggest struggles we have in Oklahoma is recruiting teachers to teach in Oklahoma. Our starting pay is still one of the lowest in the region. We are still underfunding our schools as the lowest in the region, where of course that ranking came out last year with us being 50th in the country. And that has to do with how we're making our investments into our schools across the state.
So would you say that's one of the more specific areas that you're looking at is education then?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so let's talk a little bit more about specific bills, because obviously there are bills come November 1st. Everybody talks about how does this impact me? So what do you guys have that's going on that's specific?
First,
impacts?
when it comes to affordability and putting more money in the pockets of everyday Oklahomans, there's two pieces of legislation that I've been working on the last couple of years. One, the sales tax relief credit, and that increases the reimbursement or the credit or amount of money that an Oklahoman, an everyday working person, can get back. Right now it's capped at $40. And I'm trying to change that to $200 per family, depending on dependents that you have or if you have a disability, and then earned income tax credit, which is a tax credit that is really, you hear a lot about at the federal level, but there is impact here at the state. And so increasing that refundability and putting more money, again, into working families' pockets. And that protects our revenue. So you hear a lot about reducing the income tax. Well, we need that money to come in so we can fund things like schools and roads and bridges and mental health and health care. But this is a way that we can really provide some tax relief while also protecting our revenue, because we have a little more control on not spending so much money when we can't do that.
We're almost out of time. On that same note, we did have a viewer ask a question about eliminating property taxes, especially for seniors who have maybe paid off their homes, things like that. Tax cut, what are your thoughts on tax cuts?
I know. I think we can all agree, regardless of who you are, where you live, and to your viewer, we all want to pay less taxes, and I certainly understand that. But property taxes are so critical to the state, especially in rural Oklahoma. When we're talking about education, those ad valorem taxes or your property taxes go to the capital of the school buildings that your children are going to, your teachers are going to, and other things that the county government takes care of. And so just know that where we eliminate, we're shifting that tax burden somewhere else. And so we have to be mindful of that. And going back to the question on education, if we want to improve our outcomes, if we want to make sure that students are getting the best that they can get, then we have to continue to fund education. We have to look at places where we have to increase those investments so that kids those outcomes are better and we're not ranked 50th in the country. And property tax does play a huge part in that.
Okay, well, hey, we appreciate you coming in this morning. Thanks for joining us here. Hey, we have a lot more to get to. We'll be right back after this break.